What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Red Randomizer Nuzlocke. I've been to a Pokemon gym a few times, but I lost each time. In the last episode, we beat Lieutenant Surge, and we went past, and we went to like we went back up to Cerulean City, and cut down a tree, went to the right, yes, right, yeah, the right, and, we beat a bunch of trainers, and basically we got to here, which is the entrance to Rock Tunnel. Now, Rock Tunnel is known, in case y'all don't know, is known for being a very long cave with a lot of paths and like ladders going every which way to different floors and stuff. And overall, it's known for being very confusing, especially since it is dark. And I don't know if you can get Flash at this point in the game. I don't even know if Flash is in this game, but I certainly do not have Flash, so that does not help with the whole darkness problem. So frankly, I'm really scared because even Pokemon professionals who played these games hundreds of times don't know their way through Mount Moon. Oh, blew it again! Like, this is the kind of thing that people look up a tutorial for, like, all the time, even if they know what they're doing just to get through it quickly, because they don't want to get lost for hours and hours. However, I do not have the liberty. In case y'all don't know, I don't really know how to Google things while recording. So I don't have the liberty of pulling up such information as how to get through here. But, oh my gosh. Oh wow. So it is not just like, oh yeah, it's like a tiny bit of... Hold on guys, I'm gonna Google something for the first time during this recording. Let me just... Does this work? Can y'all still hear me? Is it... I don't know if y'all can still hear me. Let me... Hold on. Where to get Flash in Pokemon Red. I don't know if y'all can see this, what I'm typing into Google. I hope you can't. I don't think you can. I don't know if y'all can even hear me. Is the mic still picking this up? I don't even know. I know it's not picking up the game. I can hear the game. It's found in Route 2. What? Bruh. Original games. HM01 cut. HM2 fly. What? Man. What is this? Flash. The easiest HMs in the game to get, and you'll be given it very early around the Boulder Badge State in Poudre City. It's found in Route 2, south of there. If you have a Pokemon that knows cut, you'll be able to get the Pidgeotto. Okay. It'll offer you Flash if you have caught up to 10 Pokemon. Have I caught up to 10 Pokemon? I sure hope so. Okay. Yeah, that should have... I might should have recorded all that. So, we need to go, someplace else first, before we can embark on our journey through Rock Tunnel. Yeah, I did not know that it was going to be that dark. Obviously, I knew it was going to be dark, but I didn't know that it was going to be, like, literally pitch black, like, I can't see myself levels of dark. I couldn't even see where my character was. That is unbearable. It's like, in other games, you can get through it, like, it's annoying to not be able to see anything, but, like, you could at least see, like, where you're going and, like, a little circle of light around yourself. That is just impossible. I couldn't even see where I was. Like, even if I could locate where trainers around me are, and even if I can locate where the walls are and where I am in comparison to like, I don't know where I am. That is nutty. The fact that, like, not being able to see anything else, fine, sure, whatever. I could deal with that. Just walking around in a cave where I can't see anything else besides myself is, like, fine, whatever. It's annoying, but I'll work around it. I can trial and error my way through. If I bump into a wall, that's fine. At least I know I bumped into a wall. If I can't see myself, that is just nutty. Okay, so I guess we gotta go through Rock Tunnel to get back to, like, the Viridian area. I'm not entirely sure if that's where sorry, we need to go through Diglett's Tunnel. That's the tunnel that we're going through. So, that would be down by Surge, in that place, whatever city that is. I completely forget. But we're gonna head back down there. Currently we're in the Cerulean area, because I obviously went back up there to go to, like, towards Rock Tunnel, not realizing that I was supposed to go through Diglett's Tunnel and back to Viridian to get Flash first. Because now I have Cut, so I can cut my way down to a place where I get Flash, because apparently, as I just read, there is a scientist who works for Professor Oak's aide. As we know, he has many of them. If y'all watched the first episode of this series, he has many aides. So, apparently one of those aides is on Route 2, but, like, behind a gate. Behind, like, a fence. Like, now that I've read it, I definitely recall that there was an aide there. And I knew that there was something there, I just didn't know that it was, Flash. I also don't know where to get Fly. I don't think I can get Fly yet. The fact that Lieutenant Surge gave me the ability to use Fly outside of battle makes me think I might be able to get Fly at this point. I remember it being, like, in a house near, like, a gate. Like, behind a Snorlax. But I don't think I could get there. Because I think that it was, like, next to Cycling Road. But Cycling Road is blocked, but that, where it was blocked on one side by Cycling Road. And the other side by, like, by something else. By a Snorlax. And I can't obviously get past Snorlax, in case y'all didn't know, I can't get past Snorlax until I have a Poke-Flute. And to get the Poke-Flute, I need to go to Lavender Town. Honestly, I'm just amazed that I know this much, like, back and forth, because my memory is terrible, but, like, just, Pokemon, Kanto is just, like, there's so many versions of Kanto. I've seen Kanto so many times. At this point, like, this is the one Pokemon game where I can pretty confidently, like, sum up the places I need to go. Like, Ruby and Sapphire, too. Emerald, I am a lot less confident. And, like Pokemon Perfect Emerald, as I said, I've been playing through that recently. And, like, in that, I was surprised at just how much I needed to look up. I'm like, okay, I did the Team Aqua stuff. I'm like, okay, now I do the Team Aqua stuff. And then they're like, wait a minute. I can't get in here. I got to, like, the whales, where the whales were. Like, and Team Aqua. I'm like, okay. So, to get past these whales, I gotta take out Team Aqua at their base. And then I couldn't go into their base. And I'm like, okay, why can't I go into their base? And it's like, oh, because they haven't stolen the submarine yet. Got it. So I need to go back to Slateport, and then I should be able to go to their base. No, I still can't go to their base. It's like, what's wrong here? And then there's, like, this whole big checklist. It's like, find Team Magma here. Go back to their base. Defeat them here. Now you can do the Team Aqua stuff. Beat Team Aqua here. Do that. And now you can go over here. It's like, oh my gosh. The combination of Team Magma and Team Aqua is just, like, a massive pain. It is just such a big, like, diversion from the whole, like, going through the gyms, and I kind of like it, but it is just, like, a crazy amount to do, because obviously in, like, Ruby and Sapphire, you either take out, like, Magma or Aqua, and, like, not only does Emerald combine those two, so you have to take out Magma and Aqua, but there's also, like, added steps than what it would be to take out Magma and or Aqua in Ruby and or Sapphire. So it is just, like, nutty how much you need to do between 6th gym and 7th gym, I think it would be, because 6th, 7th gym is Tate and Eliza, I think, which is, and to get to where Tate and Eliza are, you have to do all that Team Aqua and Team Magma stuff, because I believe that is where it's blocking, the Whalmer are blocking, because you need to go that way to get to their little island, and then from there you get, like, Dive from Steven, and then you need to, use Dive to go underwater, and then you need to, like, dive back up and resurface, and then you're in Zootopolis, which is a wacky name for a town, by the way. Like, Zootopolis? Like, I was, like, when I was little, I used to think that, like, wait, like, is that a zoo? Like, I was going in there, thinking, like, I'd be seeing, like, giraffes and stuff. I heard zoo, and I'm like, oh, there's animals here. There's gonna be, like, all these wild animals. Nope, just a city. Just a city underwater. It's like, why is it called Zootopolis? It's like a metropolis, but it's a zoo. But it's not either of those. It's a city underwater, but not literally like a city underwater. It's just like a city surrounded by like a cliffside, so that you can't get over. So you have to go under, and you have to like. What does this guy have to say? I went to Rock Tunnel, but it's dark and scary. If a Pokemon's flash could light it up, yeah, that's exactly why I'm here. Precisely why I am where I am right now. What? Where on earth is? Okay. I know that there's like a fence post here. Now I have cut, so I could go through here, but I don't think that would actually do anything for me besides put me back at Pooter, so I think I need to go down. If I remember correctly, I need to go down. But I think that in Fire Red and Leaf Green there's like fences. Like, I don't remember. Okay, there's fences up here. Got it. There's where the fences are. Because I remember there being like, I remember like walking down out of this cave, and then there's like fences right here. And maybe that is true in Fire Red and Leaf Green, but they are certainly not here. In what game is this? Red? A fainted Pokemon can't fight, but it can still use moves like Cut. Thank you for the helpful information that I totally did not know already. I'm looking for Parasect. Want to trade one for Clefairy? Parasect for Clefairy. I don't have a Parasect, so, I mean, if I ever get a Parasect, I'll come talk to you. Probably. Maybe. I'll have to think about it. Is Clefairy better than Parasect? Would I take a Parasect over a Clefairy? Sorry, would I take a Clefairy over a Parasect? I mean, definitely in, like, future gens, because Fairy type is broken. But, like, in this gen? Let's go down a long way. There's supposed to be an aid. Are you the aid I'm looking for? Hi, remember me? I'm Professor Oak's aide. One of the very many, apparently. If you caught 10 kinds of Pokemon, I'm supposed to give you an HM05. So, Alex, have you caught at least 10 kinds of Pokemon? I don't know, you tell me! Yes, let's see. Uh-oh, you have caught only 8 kinds of Pokemon. You need 10 kinds if you want the HM05. Well, that's a shame. What shall I do in this situation? I'm sure that no one would mind if I just cheated ever so slightly. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna use the Pokemon. Obviously, they're, like, illegal. But I need Flash. Like, it's not my fault. It is kind of my fault that I don't have enough Pokemon for Flash. But, like, it is... In any other game, I'd be fine to just, like, tough it out. But, like, in this case, I feel like I just really need the Flash HM, not gonna lie. What was I going to say? Once a Pokemon learns Flash, you can get through Rock Tunnel. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, but you see, the big dilemma here is that I don't have enough Pokemon for this guy to give me Flash. I don't know why he can't just give it to me. Like, bruh, Professor Oak told you, like, test me here? Like, oh, give him Flash, but only if he has 10 Pokemon. It's like, well, I don't have 10 Pokemon, so I guess, F me. Get good, says Professor Oak. So yeah, I'm just gonna... Don't mind me while I quickly break the rules just a little bit. Obviously, I'm not gonna, like, use this. But I do need to catch things. Do I wanna... Okay, Vileplume's hard to catch. Vileplume must be pretty hard to catch. It's a fully evolved Pokemon. I am going purely off of the fact that it is a fully evolved Pokemon, and therefore saying that it is hard to catch. So, I know there are Pidgeys here. I could probably catch a Pidgey much easier. Either that, or I'm just gonna kill it in one hit. One of the two. Hopefully, I can weaken it down to a decent amount in one hit, and then throw a Pokeball. But I know there are Pidgeys here. So that would definitely be the easier thing to catch, assuming that I can weaken it appropriately. This thing is even harder to catch than than whatever I just ran into. What was it? It was a Vileplume. And, I better get Magmar out of here, because Magmar is a fire type, and this is a very strong water type. And I will instead bring Andrew in, which is my electric type, with the super effective Thunder Shock, as electric types, most electric types have, at this point, or have learned by this point. Some of them might have even gotten rid of Thunder Shock by this point, but, not me, and not in Gen 1, because in Gen 1, nobody learns anything. Like, it is so crazy. Like, you look at the game, the modern Pokemon games, and it's so crazy just, like, how much things learn. Anyway, so I'm gonna catch this Pidgey. I guess Mario returns. Wait, that's not a new Pokemon, is it? Because I already caught this, so that doesn't count for the Pokedex. Me being stupid. Me being a stupid moment. I'm like, oh, I'll just catch a Pidgey. That's easy to catch. It's like, that doesn't help me in this situation. I mean, okay. I don't think there's anything else here. It's 3 encounters. That, in a place where there's usually 2 encounters, that doesn't make any sense no matter how you add it up. Oh, but apparently there's 4 encounters. I guess it's just like random how many encounters there are too. Could there theoretically be like 12? Like, I always thought it was just like, oh, every encounter is replaced with a different encounter, and it's random what that is. But I didn't know that it's like a random amount of encounters. That's crazy, because usually, obviously, in Diglett's Cave, there's only Diglets and Dugtrio, so the fact that there are 4 different encounters here is kind of odd. But yeah, I could probably catch this when it's at this health. I don't waste too many Pokemon on Pokemon I can't use, but, oh my gosh, you're gonna give me trouble, aren't you? You're gonna give me trouble, aren't you, Jinx? It's not like I even want to catch you, Jinx. Like, please just get in the ball and stop hassling me right now. I mean, I have money to buy more Pokeballs, but I'd just rather not. I'd rather you just get in this one. Thank you. Thank you, Jinx. What shall I name this? Let me think. Human shape Pokemon. The human shape Pokemon, of course. Because that's the shape that a human is. I mean, that's what it is. I don't really know what fodder is, but I imagine it from what I've heard, it's not necessarily a good term. Like, death fodder is, like, something you sacrifice, and I guess I'm not really sacrificing it to anything, but, like, I'm sacrificing it to, the Professor Oak's aid. Here, take this Jinx and give me the flash that I need. Vileplume. What do we have sending out? What are we sending out against this Vileplume? I don't even know. Gerald. Okay. So, Gerald, I guess... I mean, there doesn't seem to be anything easy to catch on this route besides the Pidgey, so I guess we'll just catch another Vileplume. It is something we don't have, which is more than I can say about the Pidgey. But, yeah, well, that is just a bummer that I had to do all this stuff. I thought that today's episode was going to start with me simply going into Rock Tunnel, and then we see what happens from there, and it's like a whole Rock Tunnel episode. But no, y'all just have to watch me catch Pokemon that I shouldn't be catching for the first 15 minutes of this episode. And I don't even want to hear it in the comments like, oh, now your run is invalid because you're catching Pokemon that you shouldn't be. This isn't your encounter. I don't want to hear it. I don't really care. I just need Flash because I am not going through that stupid pitch black tunnel without Flash. I didn't know it was going to be this dark. I had no idea. Because I've never played Gen 1 this far in. Like, I remember I played Gen 1, like, a while ago. I think the only other time I played Gen 1 was when I was listening to one of Vinny's Super Mario 64 speedrun streams in the background, and I listening to one of I was watching a Vinny Super Mario 64 speedrun stream, and I say watching with air quotes because I never really watch those. I just put them on with as background noise while I do other things, such as play ROM hacks and stuff. At least I did on my old computer, because obviously I talked about that before. This thing has Thrash, which is kind of weird, because I wouldn't expect Vileplume to have Thrash. It just doesn't seem like the Pokemon to thrash about. That's its attack, you know? It doesn't seem like a very heavy hitter physically. But, anyway, I believe that one of those times, rather than playing Pokemon Ash and Gray as I normally did when I had, other people's videos on as background noise, I believe that one time I just decided to play Pokemon Red for as long as possible, and at least as long as I wanted to. Please don't hit yourself in confusion and kill yourself. Please just get in the ball. That would be fantastic if you just get in the ball. I really, like I said, could buy more Pokeballs. Don't want you to waste all of them. Don't hit yourself. You know what, at this point, just hit yourself. Really, I don't even care at this point. You're wasting so many of my Pokeballs, I could care less if you kill yourself right now. You're confused no more, of course. Well, I'm gonna use one more Pokeball, and then since you didn't kill yourself, I'm gonna have to kill you if you don't get into this. Just intimidate him, and then he'll get in. It's that easy! Just threaten them. And then they get in just fine. They're like, oh, I don't want to die, so I guess I'll just spend the rest of my pitiful life in a PC. Don't tell Vileplume that they are just, a random Pokemon that I caught that I legally cannot use. Don't tell Vileplume that they're just, fodder, I was gonna say fodder 2, but there's no 2. So I'm just gonna say, fodder X. That's super fodder. That's ultra mega fodder. Fodder X! But oh, get it away. There's 5 encounters in this cave with this 2 encounters? What? Now I'm just interested in how many are here. I never knew it was like that. I always thought, it must be, just according to how many encounters are usually there. That's the amount of encounters you can run into in Nuzlocke, because that makes sense to me, you know? Like, it randomizes, there are these different types of Pokemon. There's this amount of Pokemon, this amount of different Pokemon that you can run into. And so therefore, there is this amount of different Pokemon you can run into, still, when it's randomized, except now they are different Pokemon, because it randomized them into different ones. But it's still the same encounters, so there's still the same amount of Pokemon that you can encounter. That just makes sense, but for some reason, that is not the way it is. Huh. Well, you learn something new every day. It's like my dad always says, you learn something new every day. And, speaking of new things I learned, Sonic Adventure 2. I gotta say, that level, that final level in Sonic Adventure 2 was like... The final level was so freaking hard. And then the final boss was so freaking easy. It's wacky because, like, I think that Rouge was the hardest fight. Maybe the Ghost, actually. Like, Rouge was just a pain in the butt. Like... Because she just, like... knock the rings out of you and then steal all of them. It was just obnoxious. But like, then you run into, then you do like Shadow, and like Shadow, yes, the Chaos Spear adds a lot to that final fight, but at the same time, it is just like, it makes it so easy. And I was trying to do it like I did all the other, like I did the previous fights, where I just like bash into him repeatedly, and I keep on finding that I just like, I spam so much that I end up flying off the edge. And I'm like, this is crazy. How am I supposed to do this? Because I just can't do enough damage before he zooms away, and then I fly off the edge. Like, we keep on clashing, and it's not doing any damage. Like, these stupid air attacks aren't working, like they did with, like, the first fight. And then I realized that while he's using Chaos Spear, I think Oma Chow actually told me, which has got to be the only time Oma Chow has ever been helpful. But I think that Oma Chow actually told me, like, hey, you need to attack while he's using Chaos Spear, it gives you an opening. And once I learned that, it became so easy. Like, I think that Shadow, despite the fact that it is the final boss, might have been the easiest boss in the entire game. It's just like, and like, I felt bad that I wasn't like, because it got to the point where I was like, this final boss is so hard, and then I realized that there's something I could do to make it so easy. And it's like, I almost don't want to do that thing, but at the same time, it seems so random. To just to defeat him without abusing, like, the whole, he's open from using Chaos Spear. Like, that's such an easy way to do it, but I couldn't find another way to do it that was, like, reliable, so I just kind of had to. But yeah, it's just, like, really interesting how making the battlefield so much thinner invalidates the entire strategy that you used on him in the last fight, because obviously in the first fight with Shadow, maybe it wasn't the first fight, but it was a fight with Shadow. Basically, like, the first one was like really like Shadow-y, like it felt like Shadow, you know. I know that maybe you fought him like at the beginning, maybe you didn't, maybe it was just like, oh, you're not good enough to be my fake, anyway, bye. I don't remember, but I remember like obviously the big fight in the forest where you're just like bouncing off of each other like crazy, you're just going boom, boom, boom at each other. It's honestly so funny. And it's like, I always used to watch it and be like, this is so funny to watch. And mind you, it does not feel any less stupid than it looks. You just kind of sit there, spamming your attack button in the air until eventually you hit him. And he's air attacking you at the same time, and you just go boom, 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 bang, bang, bang into each other. And eventually one of you hits the other. And hopefully it's you hitting him. But yeah, like, that entire strategy, like, you go zooming around, like, all over the place during that. And the thing is, that entire strategy is invalidated just by the battlefield being thinner. Because the whole thing about the final boss fight is that it becomes, like, a race sort of thing, where you're, like, on a track, and you're going in a certain direction. You are, like, racing each other, but the object of it isn't, like, to, obviously, get to anywhere. It's not like an actual race, it's like a I'm going to kill you type of I am, like, running next to you, but we're trying to kill each other, which is honestly, like, really weird. It's like, why don't you just stop running and fight? It seems like that would be a much easier way to do it, but, you know, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, so final boss is running, and it is kind of cool. and you're just like running next to each other, and you have to like, he's trying to keep up with you, and you're trying to keep up with him. Like, you're trying to keep each other's pace, and then like the way to sort of take him out is to like let him outpace you. That is a really interesting thing, because like if you let him outpace you, then he starts throwing chaos spears at you. And if you're like getting too far behind, because obviously if you just keep running at him and you don't let him get any distance on you, then he won't have it. Then he's like gonna be like, oh, I don't want a chaos spear because he's right behind me. I need to keep running. So you need to sort of let him go ahead. You need to fall behind. You as Sonic the Hedgehog need to go less fast so that way he gets distance from you and therefore feels confident enough to chaos spear, because that gives you an opening. It is a really strange twist of fate, because it is a really wacky way of doing it that's like honestly pretty cool, because in a game where the objective is to go as fast as possible, where you're freaking Sonic the Hedgehog and you're super fast and you got like super speed and everything, and you're running around at the speed of sound, got places to go, you can't just stick around, you know, like in a game where you are the fastest thing alive, the way to beat the final boss is simply to let him get ahead of you. Like, that is such a cool idea, because theoretically you could continue to outpace Shadow, no problem. Like, Shadow is not as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog, but like, by letting him get ahead of you, you are making him confident enough to the point where he is willing to chaos spear. He's willing to turn back to attack, and then that is where he gives you an opening. So yeah, really cool idea for a final boss fight, and I don't think they thought about it that much, and it definitely is a very easy final boss fight. But despite that, it is a very cool idea. Maybe it wasn't their idea, but the way I'm analyzing it, it seems like a cool idea. So I switched from an electric type, which is weak to ground, to a fire type, which is also weak to ground, against a Cubone. So that wasn't my brightest idea. Sorry, just getting carried away talking about Sonic Adventure 2. But yeah, if Omo Chow really wanted to be helpful, could have taught me how to use Chow Garden. Like, the still knowledge, after beating the game, I find it crazy that I still don't know how to do that. Like, I went to the space colony, like, I went to the space colony, like, I flew into space, we beat up, Knuckles beat up Rouge, we got the Master Emerald back, we put it back together, we defeated Eggman, we stopped the world from being blasted with a giant laser, we defeated Shadow the Hedgehog, and after all that, I still don't know how to give birth to a frickin' Chow. I still don't know how to hatch these gosh darn eggs. It's nutty to me. With all the stuff we did throughout this adventure, don't know how to hatch Chow eggs still. Still a concept that is foreign to me. I defeated the ultimate life form and yet cannot hatch a Chow egg. My gosh, just like suddenly it's just like it helped clear up so much stuff just playing Sonic Adventure 2. Like, I think that it does wonders for you to start at the beginning. Like, start at a game that was like influential on the series, that introduced something big. Like, because like I'd seen playthroughs of Shadow the Hedgehog. I'd seen Hedgehog walking around with gun going, Maria! But like, I didn't understand it. And now, like, after Sonic Adventure 2, I understand much more like who Shadow is. And I think that's crazy that like, crazy idea, like, oh yeah, it makes more sense when you start at the beginning. But really, it does. It's not like Mario. Like, Sonic is not like Mario. Sonic has an actual story. And I'm used to Mario, where I could just come in at any game and it all makes sense. But Sonic the Hedgehog, my brother tried endlessly to explain Sonic to me. No dice. And then I play Sonic the Hedgehog, and all of a sudden, so many things that I didn't understand before are so much clearer. Like, Sonic Adventure 2. It's just like, now I understand Shadow so much more, just because, like, I actually have seen the game that introduced him. You know, I met him. I, like, actually met the character, and I actually did the story of the game that introduced him. So now I actually, like, now I actually have an understanding. And, like, I think that I don't have any room? Are you kidding me? I came all the way here, I caught all those Pokemon, and I don't have any room? What the frick? But I guess, okay, we don't need an SS ticket anymore. Toss it away. That's too important! We don't need it anymore! Iron. Who needs iron? I don't know what iron raises. Defense? Probably. That would make sense, because iron is really hard. Who needs defense? Who is, like, a defensive Pokemon here? Who is our most defensive that we want to make even more defensive over here? 45... 47... 54. That makes sense, that it would be Eradicate. 53... Okay. It is almost Jolteon, but it is not Jolteon. It is Eradicate. So we're gonna give it to Eradicate. Defensive attacker over here. Eradicate. That is Eradicate, right? That's Carly. Yeah, Carly is the Eradicate. Now, give me the gosh darn HM! You delayed this entire you threw off the entire plan for the episode just because you couldn't give me the HM until I got 2 more Pokemon. So I had to go around catching Pokemon. The HM Flash lights even the darkest dungeons. I had to go around catching Pokemon instead of actually doing what I wanted to this episode just to get Flash. Because this guy was just like, oh, get 2 more Pokemon and I'll give it to you. No, stop being difficult. Why? Just give it to me. I came all the way here. Oh, if only you had 2 more Pokemon, then it would prove to me that you're worthy of Flash. It's like, no, what? Really? This is the qualification you're setting? Like, it seems so arbitrary. Why 10 Pokemon? I'm doing just fine. I don't need any more Pokemon. What I need is Flash. Give it to me. It's like... Oh my gosh. It's like... I think that... It's crazy with, like, Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it would really help me to understand Sonic the Hedgehog even more if I just, like, played more of the older games. But I don't have, like, emulators for, like, Sega devices. Like, that's the thing, is I don't know how to play, like, older Sonic games, because nowadays Sonic games are on everything. But I feel like there were a bunch of Sonic games that were, like, old ones that just weren't. And I feel like I'd have a lot more context and know a lot more about Sonic if I played, like, some of the old games, because obviously you play Sonic Lost World, that doesn't help you understand Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, you're coming in after, like, 20 years or something of Sonic the Hedgehog, and you're expecting to understand everything. And it's like, yeah, Sonic Lost World is a very simple game, and the plot is boring, so yeah, I kinda understand everything. But that's not the point. The point is, Sonic Lost World doesn't tell me about the lore. We've gotten to a certain point with Sonic the Hedgehog, where children grew up with it, and they grew into adults, and they understand the franchise, and they're playing it, and they're like, wow, this is great. And then there are children who are, like, being born. There are children who are growing up, like, right now, who are getting the new Sonic game, like, and they're going up to Sonic Frontiers, right? They're playing Sonic Frontiers, and they're like, hey, remember when Zavik was, like, trying to kill everyone or something? I don't know. It's like a bunch of flashbacks that they do in Sonic Frontiers. I was like, this is horrible. Because it's like, yeah, it's cool for the people who played the old games, but what about the people who didn't play the old games? You know, it's like, Tails is going back and referencing all this stuff, and it's like, so blatant too. It's not like, oh, it's a little reference. It's like, no, he's literally like, remember when you died? Hey, Sonic, remember when you freaking died in Sonic Forces? And it's like, bruh, spoilers. I mean, I know that's like minutes into the game, but it's like, Tails. My guy, that's a big piece of information. Hey, Sonic, remember when you freaking died? Sonic was like, yeah. Anyway, it's like, it felt so, like, yes, as someone who's seen Sonic games, I understood, like, watched a bunch of playthroughs of Sonic games, I understood most of it, like, most of the stuff he was talking about. But then he talks about, like, oh, remember this random island with this random thing? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure if I played whatever game you're referring to, then I'd be like, oh, yeah, that island, that makes sense, yeah. But I understood, like, the Sonic Forces one. Like, the thing is, Sonic the Hedgehog is just building and building and building. And it's not like Mario, where it's just, like, it doesn't matter what the old games were. Like, Sonic has a plot that just keeps building, and it's been around for a while, so at this point, there are just children who are growing up with Sonic now that don't understand what Sonic used to be. It's crazy because it's just, like, not accessible. And I feel like they're trying to fix that with, like, Sonic Origins. It's like, oh yeah, play all the old games so you understand the new ones. Like, yeah, we're gonna introduce you to these characters by giving you, like, remakes of the old games. But it's like, I had to go back, like, to understand modern-day Sonic better. In order to understand modern-day Sonic so much better, I had to go back and play a game that is, like, what? 20 years old? I don't know how old Sonic Adventure 2 is. I don't know why I keep saying Sonic the Hedgehog, because it's not Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure 2. It's Sonic Adventure 2. I don't know how old Sonic Adventure 2 is, but I'd imagine it's quite old. It looks quite old. But just the fact that I need to go back that far to, like, find out who Shadow is, and, like, learn about Shadow. And, like, the fact that he is, like, still a he is, like, such a mainstay in the franchise now, it's just, like, crazy that, like, it's like they don't refer back to things at all in Sonic. That's the thing, is that, like, I think I would have understood Sonic so much more if the modern games talked more about things that happened and, like, important plot points, rather than, oh, I'm gonna reference this, and it's gonna be wacky, and everyone's gonna understand it, and I'm Tails, and I did this, and I did that, and you did that, and I did this, and it's like, just tell us the plot, like, summarize for the people who weren't playing Sonic the Hedgehog 20 years ago, who freaking big the cat is, like, tell us things, because I'm sitting here with all these characters at this point that have been, like, piled up, and I'm like, I don't know who Vector the freaking crocodile is he an alligator, is he a crocodile, I don't even know, because they're not telling me, they don't tell me these things, like, I'm Vector the Detector, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, but okay, it's just like, they introduce these characters, and then they, like, keep bringing them back for years and years and years, and then you're just sitting here, looking at a character that they, like, explained the origin of 20 years ago, and they haven't touched it since, like, where this character came from, they haven't touched that idea since, and they're just like, oh yeah, you remember this guy, right? And it's like, well, yeah, but who is he? You know, like, all the children are like, oh yeah, look at this character that I've seen before, but know nothing about, because I didn't play the game, because it's that old. Like, I didn't play the game he was from, you know, I don't know what Vector the Detector is from, from what I heard, from what I know, for all I know, he's from Sonic Boom. He's the TV show. Okay, because, like, Sonic just, like, they bring back all these characters constantly, without, like, making any effort to to summarize, like, hey, this is how they met this person, this is where this person came from, this is what they do. It's like, they have all these characters to work with, and they keep on bringing them back, and that's great. It's like, okay, yeah, we love these characters, thank you for bringing this character back. It's like, whatever, cool. But then, like, thank you for referencing this, and thank you for coming back to this old place. It's like, yeah, cool, referencing old games, going back to things, great, wonderful, revisiting things that people already know. But the problem is when they don't already know it, and they revisit it anyway. And, like, children are sitting there, this is their first Sonic game, and then they're bombarded with a bunch of things that they don't know about, because it's, like, making no effort to recap for the people who didn't play this game 20 years ago. But yeah, like, that is a massive problem with, like, Sonic the Hedgehog as a whole, I think. Is that it just keeps building and building, and they're not, like, making efforts to make sure that the people who are new to the franchise know the characters and, like, what they're all about. And I think that if I went back and played a bunch of old Sonic games, it would help me understand new Sonic games so much more. Because there'd be, like, all these characters that I, like, now know what they're all about, why they're here, what they do, and it's like, I would know all this stuff, and I'd be able to use that information, and I'd be able to, like, understand better, just, like, how the world, like, all these characters, and, like, the world around me. I'd be able to understand it all better if I just, like, went back and played the older games, but that's the thing, is that, like, that's the problem. Is that you have to go back and play all these older games in order to know who these characters in the present game are. And it's like, it's just so stupid like that. That, like, the series is built in such a way that I just got rid of Ember. I just got rid of Ember. Whatever. You know what? We're a special. We're a physical attacker. We don't need it anyway. But yeah, it's like it's kind of stupid. That's the way the franchise is built. It's like you want to understand this one character. You want to know who this one character is. Look back like 15, 20 years, and then you'll be able to figure out like where they came from and who they are. It's just not very approachable. And it makes Sonic the Hedgehog's story and lore just so confusing to sort out. And here's our encounter. So I'm gonna catch this and I'm gonna end off the episode. Sonic rant over, I guess. Now I'm gonna let's see. How do we? Alakazam is probably hard to catch. Let's say fully evolved Pokemon, and it probably has teleport. I'm not terribly worried. Like it does have high special attack, but I'm not like terribly worried about my ability to take hits from this thing because we are 13 levels above. Let's go to Carl. I don't want to. Oh, we don't have any like special attacks here because I'm worried about his ability to take physical attacks. That's the thing. And like, okay, Bubble Beam we could go for, but like, Haunter's special is so high. Oh, it's just teleported away. Okay, that makes things a lot easier for me, because I don't have to worry about killing it. I can't kill it. It's already gone. Wonderful. So, before we take on this guy, we'll do that in the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching, EV Clan. Sorry that this episode went off the rails a little bit, because I didn't know where the heck I was going, but, thank you so much for watching. I'm sure I already said that, but I'm saying it again. And this is Alex Espion. Sorry. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is Alex Espion signing off. My brain is all over the place today.